Welcome you all in the course workshop. Today I am teaching about ferrous and non-ferrous alloys. The content of this lecture will be follows like this: the classification of the metals and the production of the steel material, and followed by the steel and its properties, and the classification of the steel material, and followed by the alloy steels. And we will talk about cast iron and non-ferrous materials. If you observe in syllabus, the first unit is divided into two portions. One is about engineering materials, another one is the properties. The materials, it is about the weightage is given up to 70%, and the properties, we just talk about what about its physical, mechanical, optical, thermal and chemical properties, which was very less percentage of weightage. And this one, what we are talking about through content, it is almost covering about the 50% of the syllabus. Here, my lecture is giving a break about once the steels will be completed. I am taking about a break and rising about the quiz, and similarly about the cast irons is followed quiz, and finally it is about the non-ferrous. So the total 3 topics, and based on that one I am teaching. First of all, the classification of the metals. In the last lecture, already we discussed through the primary elementary information I was given about the engineering material classification. But here in this lecture, we are restricting ourselves to talk about the steels and the cast irons, or I can say ferrous and non-ferrous materials. The steels and the cast irons comes under ferrous material. The non-ferrous means it may be like as aluminium and copper, magnesium or manganese, or maybe tungsten or maybe in other things. Here the alloys already I talked about the last time. I am just reminding to you, it may be a ferrous or it may be non-ferrous. The ferrous means the major contribution of element is iron. Non-ferrous means the iron is not a major contribution. It is a very less percentage, or sometimes it may be zero also. Now just think about what about the ferrous nature. The ferrous is nothing but iron. The iron is a very soft material. If the iron is given to you, of course it is possible with your human muscle power you can bend it. In iron, most of the time if you are exposed to the directly in the environment, then the iron is going to react with the water vapor which are existed in the environment. So what will happen? Yes, it forms a iron oxide. The iron oxide layers, the chemical reaction happens and an iron oxide is formed on the metal surface. The iron oxide is nothing but a rust, called as a rust. And rust is a drawback. Now that alloy, that is nothing but a ferrous alloys, which I have mentioned about the iron, which is a soft one, which is easy to form the rust due to the reaction with the environment in the water particles. That combination is converted and become as a strongest material, or one of the strongest material on the earth, which is called as stainless steels. The harder one. How it is converted, how it is transformed. So those things we will talk about in this lecture. Now once again I am just briefing about this classification. The classification is required. Why? Because whenever you will remember about this classification, then only you will get a more idea and much more details about each type of metal. Here also a metal and non-metals. The ferrous and non-metals, which comes under plastics, rubbers and resin material. And the ferrous material, we will talk about iron, steel, pig iron, cast iron, rock iron, copper, and which comes under non-ferrous. So all these lists we are given in a different format. Once again, I am just reminding you about what is the materials we are dealing in this course. Now, Just what I mentioned just now about the iron, and it is about the periodic element table. We just found about this one, and the periodic element number is about 26, and atomic mass is 55.85. The iron, which is called as a ferrous, and is represented with Fe. Now, here, when you're talking about the ferrous materials, what we deal as per your course means these are the topics we will read. One is carbon and alloy steels, stainless steels, tool and die steel, cast irons and cast steels. If you observe the terms, most of the terms we heard about the first time, but each word has a different meaning. The casting process. Tool, the tool is the name, just like as what you get a understanding about the name of tool, like as a hammer, there is one tool. The screwdriver is another tool. The tool is that one. So to make that material, we are using about the steel. What type of that one? Tool steel. In the case of dies, what manufactured, die steel we call. That means when I mentioned in the earlier lecture, the engineers are developed so much of variety of materials by a combination and by varying the alloy content or alloy percentages. And also I was mentioned as a statement I was given, nowadays it is very difficult to decide the right material in the right application rather than manufacturing. Now, the carbon plays a major role in the case of steels, and those things we will talk in first of all in case of steel materials. Now the last term which is showing here is the cast steel, the casting process we followed. That means the ferrous we are heating about the we are heating and we have molded and we are producing it in different applications. Casting process. Without melting process, without foundry technologies, we can't get it directly about the steel material. The steels will not directly available on the earth. They are available in different forms, which comes under iron. So from the iron and mixed with the alloy, some alloy elements, we are manufacturing as a steels. In an engineering point of view, or in your daily life, what are the material mostly exposed more means that is a steel material. The steels we are using about the constructions, maybe foam or bridges. The steels we are using about the tools and automobiles. All fields we are using. And that details also we will talk about from this lecture. And here the iron and the humankind, when they are using about the iron as a taking the benefit from the iron materials means it may be about as per the record, it is about 3000 to 4000 years back. If we see, they are using and they are getting benefited from utilizing of these metals, which is called as iron. That is why the historical people, when a period giving the name time period, they called as Iron Age. That means the human period when it started here, the human survival point of view, first one is called as a Rock Age, the next one is a Bronze Age, then the third one is about Iron Age. Age means a group of years that people used these materials. The Rock Age means at the time there is no knowledge, there is no such a thing. The man people just hunted about the animals and taking the fruit from the fruits and trees. Is simply using that one. What weapons they use and what are the materials they use means the sharp rocks they are taking as a tool. After that they are developed in such a way that the existing metals they are using. The Iron Age means the iron is mostly used at that time period. Now, look at about this picture. When I am talking about iron and steel, don't think about it sitting in a single room like as this is a small task. It is an industry. A simple, the Vizag plant, the Vizag steels. That is about the very huge. More than 1000 acres the land and the plant is established about the manufacturing. Now, what are the picture we are showing about here? The production of iron and the steel. The production of iron and steel. Iron, which is available directly, it is not in the purest form. It is the dilute. So, more amount of impurities are present that you have to remove. You have to work. The steels also will be manufactured. But in the manufacturing, we are heating that material and we are adding some alloys and going to solidification. That means temperature will be reduced. That means the phases will be changed. So whatever the solid existing about the raw material, we are heating. That means solid to liquid state will come, and we are solidifying as per our required shapes. It may be balls, it may be plates, or it may be blocks. Whenever you will do that one, the liquid molten metal is poured into suitable shapes called as molds. After molded, it appears like as a finishing product. Those are the steels. That means, keep in mind, the steels, we are man-made product in the industry, applying some heat energy, converted about the iron and mixing some alloy elements and heated, the phase change from solid to liquid and liquid to solid. That is the thing you have to remember. Now, from this one we will talk about what is the raw material about the steels. Our raw material for using about the iron and steel combinations, it may be general, so many varieties are there, but I am showing you from these pictures. It may be like as an iron ore, it may be limestone, and it may be coke. All these three combinations we are using in a furnace. In a furnace we are going to heat it. The furnace may be blast furnace, which is the most famous one. Most of the time we are using about the blast furnace. Nowadays some electrical categories are available. The blast furnace is one of the things. I think you read about these things in your 10th standard or 12th standard. So the iron ore and limestone and coke will becomes. So first of all, the iron ore, which is an earth crust, the 5% of the material on the earth is itself as iron ore. That is why whatever the products which is made up of iron, less cost. And moreover, the iron ores, the iron which is not directly available as a free form, it is a combined form, which is a combined with the other combination of the elements. If you require the iron alone, whatever the other products are there, you have to remove. Maybe impurities, you have to avoid that, but you have to remove. The easiest way to remove about in a iron ore is about the heating. But because the iron ore which is available in a solid, very like as a rocks, and we have to go for the manufacturing and apply some breaking, and after heating, then it will be separated. Now, whatever the minerals will be added, whatever the minerals are mixed that one earlier, all these things will be separated. That is why the iron, whatever is available on the earth by means of a products and byproducts, or maybe like as a group one, those things we call as iron ore rocks. Those rocks may be going to crushing in a small size. Those small size we call as pellets, or maybe a ball size, it may be pellets. And with binded with some water, why? Because it is about purifications and avoiding about any other elements about the organics and other things. And here, whenever we purify about the crushing and removing some other particles, the 65% iron will be obtained. That means the remaining 35% is about other impurities are presented. We have to remove that one by heating and melting. The next one is a coke. The coke is nothing but a carbon product, and a carbon we are heating. So when I say about the manufacturing of the steel products, the steel production, the three combination we are talking, that is the iron ore, next one is a coke, and third one is a limestone. Iron ore is already available, but in the making of a steel, the combination of the two metals you have to come. That is iron, another one is a carbon. But here we are using a coke. The purpose of coke is about to generate high amount of heat. So whenever the carbon will be heated, the carbon will be burned and its melting point temperature is about 3000 degrees centigrade. Whenever it is heated, the heat will be dissipated very quickly and maintained with a very hot condition for a long time period. And moreover, during the purpose of the coke crystallization is produce about the carbon monoxide, which is about the impurity, but it reduces about the iron oxide formation. For that purpose, we are using about this one. The next one, the limestone, the chemical name which is called as a calcium carbonate. The main purpose is about to remove the impurities in the process of the steel's production. We are using about the limestone. But because whenever we whenever we are red hot conditions, molten state will be there, the limestone will be reacts with other minerals and other particles which are there in iron ore, and they mix it and they will be formed as a floating agent which is called as a slag. The slag is nothing but the impurities. Whenever the molten metal we are heated, the top layer, but because the top layer is directly reacting with the environment. Whenever it directly reacts with the top layer will be solidifies, and whenever it is going to be solidified, whatever the impurities are there, unnecessary parts, unnecessary elements, all these are going to be mixed and be making as one product that is called as a slag. And the slag will be removed simply by using some buckets and some particular variety of tools to separate from the molten metal. So in this way we are preparing about the steels. So the steel, the major contribution is about the iron I mentioned. Now we are talking about the ferrous material. There are two types. One is about the steels and cast irons, where in the steels the carbon percentage is only up to 2.1 percentage. That means the question will rise, what about the 98 percentage? The 96 to 98 percentage is iron itself only. Only how much difference is there? Only the 2% of carbon is only mixed, and the product is called as a steels. If you say one word, what is meant by ferrous material? Iron is a only alone, then we call it as a ferrous material. Iron is a soft one, steel is a strong one. What is the major difference? The carbon percentage. In a pure ferrous, the carbon is 0%. But whenever the carbon is mixed with iron and the carbon is of 2.1 percentage, that is called as a steel, which is a very hard, much stronger than iron. That steel we are using in all fields in engineering. How much carbon? Only 2.1. Whereas in a cast iron, the carbon percentage is more than 2.1 to 6.67 percentage only. 6.67. If the carbon percent is less than 2.1, then it is not called as a cast iron. It is called as steels. If it is more than 2.1, then we call as it is a cast iron. But the maximum is 6.67 percentage. And if you have a doubt about if the more than 6.67 percentage of carbon, then I can say we are not get any benefited by adding more than that much of percentage in the iron. That means, in a real application point of view, the engineers couldn't find any product which are recommended as carbon of more than 6.67 percentage. It is a completely useless thing. There is no use of that material, and there is no found any application with that combinational set. And moreover, in the cast iron, when the percentage I mentioned 2.1 to 6.67, but in a real practical applications, the carbon percentage usage is only 4.5 percentage only. The more than 4.5 to 6.7, we call it as a cast iron, but the applications are limited. Why? Because whenever the more carbon will be presented, the nature of the carbon, which is rugged and which is a irregular type, gives about the improving the property of brittleness. Brittleness. What do you mean by brittleness? Brittleness means, like as an example of a glass material. Whenever you apply the load, the glass will be suddenly breaks without any information of the deformation. All of sudden breaks. If two properties I am just highlighting about this one, steels and cast iron. The steel has the property of ductility, are ductile, whereas in cast irons the property recorded as a brittleness. The steels we are using was very vast. Why? Because it has a property of ductile. That means whenever the load is applied on that material, the material is going to deform within metallic mass. It is going to deformation. So the deformation under the action of load. That means whenever the load is acting, the system dimension is going to sagging, and if the load is further continued, then definitely it is going to fail. Then I will get some caution from that one, and I will change the place of the product. But because I came to know it is going to be fail. But in the cast iron, it is not like it is a brittle. There is no deformation, or I can say zero deformation will be there, and all of a sudden it is going to be break. All of it is going to be break. That is the nature of the cast iron, and it has happened because of adding more amount of carbon. Now, once here, a few more discussion, a few more things we are talking about the carbon. Just what I mentioned, the steel is to carbon percentage is 2.1%, and cast iron is up to 6.67%. And the rest of the elements is the major part is the iron. It is available in the steels 96 to 98. And don't you think the steels and the cast iron means only this iron and carbon only? There are few more elements are present, sirs. Why they present means the two reasons I can say. One is it is very difficult to separate. Why? Because the amount of percentage of mix is maybe 0.01% or maybe like as a 0.1%. 0.1%. We will talk about much more interesting things in case of alloy steels. When the alloy we are going to be added, what property will be changed. Now, the steels have in the carbon in the combined form, which is about called as austenite and cementite. These are the technical terms. But these technical terms called as austenite steel, the cementite. It is about the products. What are the products? How we are prepared? First, we are taking about the iron ore and we melt it, and we are controlled by adding the carbon percentage. Then the steels are developed. Now, when we are mixing, in the molten state only. During the mixing and all those things, some of the byproducts will be formed during the solidification, and those things are called as austenite and cementite. And the carbon which is there, the combined form in the case of steels, whereas in the cast iron which is in the free form called as the graphite. We'll talk more about in the cast irons all these things. Now, first of all, we'll talk about the steels. Now, in engineering point of view, there are more than 3,000 variety of steel materials are existing nowadays. 3,000 types, and those classification may be based on the types of deoxidation process. That means in the manufacturing process, if you want to remove the iron, if you want to remove the oxygen, we call it as a killed steels. That is a deoxidation. That steels are categorized based on the process or based on the carbon content, low, medium, high, based on the grades, manufacturing methods, application point of view, and standard institutions. A lot of varieties are there. These are the major differentiating about the steels classification. But here, in a first year point of view, in a first year graduation student, we are talking about only a few categories. That is, one is the first about the carbon content, and second one is alloy steels. So first of all, we go directly the carbon content. The carbon content steels are categorized as low carbon steels and high carbon steels. Otherwise, if you observe from the diagram, low alloy, high alloy. First of all, we talk about low alloy. The low alloy means whatever the adding alloy element, that percentage, all the alloy element, the sum of all the alloy element percentage is less than 10%, then we call it as a low alloy. Low alloy steels. High alloy steels means whatever the alloys we are adding, the sum of the percentages of all alloys is greater than 10%. Greater than 10%, then we call it as a high alloys. So in the low alloys, we are categorized dealing about three things. One is low carbon steels, medium carbon steels, high carbon steels. And then high alloys, tool steel and stainless steel we talk. So this is about broadly we are talking and discussing about these things. We will go very quickly about all these things and what about properties and its applications. The low carbon alloy. The low carbon alloys comes under first one, that is low alloys. The carbon content is much less, that is about 0.25%. 0.2%. 0.25 weight percentage of carbon is mixed in the iron. That product is called as a low carbon steels. And these are unresponsible about the heat treatment because of very less amount of martensite. Maybe martensite, I will tell you first of all, we talk about the existing mixtures. What is the thing is, the major, if you want to talk about what are the properties of low carbon alloys means, the simplest way is, first, what is the low carbon steel? That is, carbon is 0.258% and the rest of is iron. That means, iron is more dominating about the combinational set. So, whatever the iron properties are there, almost slightly more properties of iron is existed in the case of low carbon steels. It is ductile, it is soft in nature. And moreover, these materials, because of less presence of carbon, it is not recommendable in the heat treatment process. Heat treatment means whenever you heat it, it is easily melts and moreover easily bends, easily changes the size and shape. But because it is about iron is present. That is why it is unresponsible about the heat treatment. That is why in the low carbon steels are there, the heat treatment in the manufacturing process, any heat treatment process are there, these materials are not recommended. And here, that's why whenever you say heat treatment process is not recommended, it is recommended in the cold works only. It is recommended in cold works only. And the word, the martensite is nothing but one type of phase element is developed during the production of the steel. So, as simple I can say in this manner. Whenever we heated about the material and we are going to cool, that means liquid molten metal is there. There are two types of coolings I am saying. The liquid molten metal is just exposed to the environment for the cooling. Another one, the liquid molten metal is cooled with the water impinging on the surfaces. Which one will suddenly cool? The thing which was cooled with the water. Whereas other one, environment, air is cooling, it takes lot of time. But water cooling, it is a very rapid one and entire the material suddenly decrease from high temperature to low temperature. So during this changing, the phase transformation, one of the structure is called as a martensite. And moreover, in these low carbon steels, the microstructures which is there available, ferrite and pearlite constitutions will be there, and all these are makes about the material as a ductile and a weak in structure. That is why these have a good emissionability, bendability properties. And the applications about the low carbon steels will be followed about the bridges, towers, supports and all those things. Here we are not entire the structure is not made up of a low carbon steel, but in the bridges structures only some part we are using about these low carbon steels. Medium carbon steels. These steels the carbon percentage is only about up to 6%. Or sometimes we will refer from the textbook it is about approximately 0.55 weight percentage of carbon. So the carbon in the case of low carbon steel it is up to 2.5. So 2.5 to 0.6% of weight is of carbon is added, and those are called as a medium carbon steels. When adding the more carbon, the material is become as a strong. But because if you compare the atomic sizes, about the iron is much bigger size, whereas carbon particle which is much smaller. Based on the periodic atomic number, you can see the carbon is about the 6, and whereas the iron is about 22. From that one, you will get it all this information. Now, whenever it is mixing in the microstructural level, that means which is not appear to our naked eye. If you imagine yourself, whenever you are mixing this one, The carbon particle is positioned in interstitial locations. That's why it is become as strong whenever the carbon is added more. Here also, when the carbon is added up to 2.5 to 6 percentage, it is become as much stronger than the low carbon steels. And when the more carbon is there, it is recommendable about the heat treatment process like as tempering. Nothing but tempering is one of the heat treatment. So many heat treatment are there about annealing, normalizing, tempering. These are the terms. But here, as per first year's point of view, you have to know about two things. Only this material is recommendable about the cold condition of working or hot condition of working. Hot condition of working I will call as heat treatment process. Cold working is nothing but the operations are applied in the room temperature zone. The room temperature zone. Now, whenever you are applying about the heat treatment process, the properties, particularly the mechanical properties, will be enhanced. That means the medium carbon material, whatever the properties are there, if you want to improve further, then heat treatment helps in this regard. And these are also called as a missionary steels. And we are using about these steels in the case of connecting rods, gates, pistons, camshafts. These terms all are related to the automobile components. That is why in automobile, maybe it is 30 to 40% nowadays is made up of a steel. Earlier days it is much bigger, but nowadays we are using about the composites, lightweight, more stronger than steel, we are recommended. But still so far we are using about automobile components made up of steel, which comes under the medium carbon steels. The last one, the high carbon steels. High carbon steels. And these steels have the percentage from 0.6 to 2.1 percentage of weight carbon. 0.6 to 2.1 weight percentage of carbon will be there. So whenever the more carbon, I said, so definitely these are much harder, much stronger, much called as a heat treatment recommendable or resistant about compared to low and medium carbon steels. That's why it was mentioned it has very hardness, high work resistance. And these are the tool and the die steels have high carbon alloys only. So whatever we are talking about high alloy steels, these comes under the high carbon steel zone. That means whatever the high carbon steels are there, we are adding some other composition of elements. That is why we call it as a tool steel, another one is stainless steel. If a chromium is added as a major element, the alloys, the percentage is about minimum of 9 to 22%. Range will be various. That one is called as a chromium. The chromium is added about the high carbon steels, that is become as a stainless steel. If we added about the vanadium and like as a tungsten and molybdenum, those are become as a tool steel. So that means these are placed that why because these are very harder means whenever these elements are chromium and tungsten we added, the chromium reacts with the iron carbon, the chromium and carbon reacts and it will form as a chromium carbide. It is nothing but carbide products. The carbide nature itself is a strong and very hard. That's why the entire material is behave as a hard material. These high carbon steels we are using about the manufacturing and the products and application related to the cutting tools and making of knives, razor, hacksaw blades, springs, all are made up of high carbon steels. Very interesting is the razors, why this is very much cost. Some blades will be available about the cost of less than 20 rupees and some blades will be worth of 1000 rupees also. A single blade. Why means it is made up of a different material. One blade, that sharpness will never lose. That blade will never form any rust. It has long life because of this material. Whenever the blades is made up of this high carbon steel, definitely the lifetime is very high and the functioning is very good. At the same time, the cost also very high. Now these are the nails. Most of the time, we use competitive examination point, they will ask you this type of questions. The nails are made up of a high carbon steels. Now, I am raising the question, why the nails are made up of high carbon steels? Why not low carbon steels? You just think about and answer this. The next one, high alloy steels. So before we go into closing the session, we'll talk about, already we know about low carbon, medium carbon, high carbon. I'm just summarizing this. In the low carbon, medium and high carbon, based on the carbon percentage, it is different, and about the hardness and the strongness and the wear out is varies from low to high level. And moreover, the applications also used. Even though the steels are available as a low, medium, high carbon, we are going for another category like as alloy steels. That means by intentionally we are mixing about some other alloy elements to get a suitable property. Why it is required? Means to improve its strength or to increase about the hardenability, to improve the wall resistance and abrasive or maybe improve the corrosion resistance. If you observe all these things is nothing but a properties. That means to understand much more about details of these things, you will also know about the properties. That's why the unit 1, the syllabus is about the understanding about materials, the classification, its characteristics and its property. When you know the property, the characteristics will be understood. When you know the property and its what you call it, the existing properties of that material, then only you are recommendable what application, what material is required. That means we are intentionally adding the alloy element to improve its strength and hardness and improve about the high heat temperature resistance and the toughnesses and all these things. Because of these reasons, we are using about the alloy elements. Now, these things we will talk in the next section.